Triton Nation, welcome to your home broadcast of the Iowa Central wrestling team for the women's and men's, taking on the big-time rival between the Iowa Western Reivers tonight. Tonight is history. This is where the very first home wrestling meet for the Iowa Central Tritons takes place for the women's side, and I am so happy to be part of it and honored as well. I'm Hank Ambrose with you. By my side, Dixie Layson, who is a current wrestler for the Iowa Central Tritons. Dixie, it's nice to meet you and nice to bring you on board tonight.
Nice to be on board.
Ready to go? I'm going to ask you for some inside scoops here with the Iowa Central women's team. We're already going to get going with our very first match here.
Perfect.
Jumping straight into it. Nicole Monaho on the Reivers side is going to be leading off. At the 101-pound weight class for the Reivers. At the 109-pound weight class, Natalie Moran. At the 116-pound weight class, Flavia Nagatoni. At the 123-pound weight class, Lorelei Wydra. At the 130-pound weight class, Shannon Steele. At the 136-pound weight class, Callista Waterby. The 143-pound weight class will be open for the Iowa Western Reivers, so that's already going to be an automatic 6 points for the Tritons with the forfeit. A 155 weight class is going to be Fernie Hernandez. The 170-pound weight class, Larissa Gallo, and her twin sister going to be wrestling a weight class above her at the 191-pound weight class, Urissa Gallo. That's going to be tough, you know, between Larissa and Urissa. That's going to be tough. And then for their heavyweight, that's going to be at 235. Zaria Jordan going to be theirs for the Iowa Western Reivers. Now the starting lineup, as far as the Iowa Central women's teams go, in order at the 109-pound weight class, Deanna Pineda. For the 116-pound weight class, Caitlin Younger. 123 is Pacey Lee. Bronwyn Benjamin getting the start tonight. The 130-pound weight class, 136 is Princess Altisi. The 143-pound weight class, Lexi Byrne. The 155-pound weight class, Maria Elizondo. 170 is Brianna Arujo. At the 191, Miranda Bell, and the 235, Addison Hirschberger. Now, you know these ladies already. They're your teammates. Did I say any of their names wrong? I hope I didn't.
Actually, the first one, it's Diana.
Diana.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I tried my best to go down and talk with Coach.
Yes, everything else sounded perfectly fine.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome. So we're going to get going here tonight. From what I understand, tonight, freestyle wrestling. Not only that, but it's also a little more different than the boys when it comes to time. For the boys, they're going to be wrestling something more similar to a 3-2-2. The girls tonight, they're going to be wrestling 2 3-minute periods.
That is correct, yes.
With a 30-second break in between each.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to even get used to, and something different from what I've ever seen before. But, hey, it's women's wrestling. I'm really excited to add this to the system, and I'm really excited to see this program take off. I believe Coach Hensley is the right guy for it. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your backstory in joining the Iowa Central women's program?
Sure. So I am from Columbus, Kansas. It is about a southeast corner of Kansas, and I'm actually a sophomore. But this is my first year wrestling in college. So it's just nice to be here with the team and feel welcomed.
Well, good, good. Of course, this is the inaugural season for the Triton side. Coach Henley, could you speak about his game and what he's brought to the table so far for the Tritons?
He's brought a lot, actually. He's an amazing coach. He's very focused on us. He spends every waking minute with us, whether it's on the phone, whenever he's at home, or just at practice. He's always there for us whenever we need him.
So far this season, you guys have seen a little bit of some individual meets, some traveling tournaments. Kicking off the season, you guys placed 5th down in a tournament. Now, I forget where at the top of my head, but down at that tournament, you guys putting in a pretty good effort so far. What have you liked to see so far from the Triton side?
I would say our team as itself, we're kind of like a family. It's just pretty awesome being able to travel with those girls. You know, our first tournament being in Kansas. It was nice to be back home, but it was even nice to be there with the girls from that I like to call family.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, they're already getting down there. The first forfeit already happened in the 101-pound weight class. The Tritons did not show anybody, so Nicole Montajo will be accredited with the victory. And, they're actually giving up 5 team points for the women's side. I need to correct myself from that. I believe I said 6 earlier.
It's just a little bit different than folk style.
Certainly, and anytime I have a mess up, please slap me or tell me when I'm wrong and when I'm right, please.
Perfect.
So 5-0 to start us off. The Reivers will have the lead. So we'll actually start, or we should be able to start in the 109-pound weight class, where it will be Diana Pineda out of Deltona, Florida, taking on Natalie Moran. Moran's already out there. You know, from what you've seen so far at the collegiate level, what can we expect to see early on in this meet?
Now, I wouldn't say it's by far a Riveters match or an R match. I think all these matches are going to be very good. You know, I'm a little biased in saying we will come out on top because we have put in the extra work, but all these matchups will be pretty good.
Sounds good. Here we go. Starting off once again, it's Diana Pineda taking on Natalie Moran. So starting off from top and neutral here, 3 minutes on the clock, and we're ticking down already out in Hodges Fieldhouse. This is the very first women's wrestling meet and now the very first women's wrestling match. If you're tuning in the broadcast, welcome. History is happening tonight. Getting in on that front headlock right away there for Iowa Western. What is Iowa Central going to need to do to kind of stay out of dangerous spots like this where they get back down on their knees?
What we really need to do is keep our head up, keep that wrinkle in the back of your neck, be strong, don't let them pull you down. That being said, you got to keep your base underneath you. You got to tie up with them just as strong as they're tying up with you.
Certainly. Pineda did a really good job there in causing for the stall to bring it back to neutral. Took a shot early on there. She's hungry. She wants that first point on the board to go IC3. I love it. But look at the aggressor, pushing to the outside. She does get a shove in, but it goes out of bounds. That's going to bring them back centered up in neutral. So far here as a wrestler, what would you do in the standpoint when thinking of yourself as Diana Pineda? I mean, you've been pushed all the way back for 3 sets now.
I would just try to circle in as much as I can, get the inside tie, keep your butt to the center, and keep your feet moving so that way you don't get stuck in a position where she can push you straight back.
Certainly. Pineda's been flying in some shots early with not a lot of setting up so far. Right there she threw in, still scrambling for the first score here. Looks like takedown. Oh, still going. Here we go now. Hang on. These girls both want the first Hodges Fieldhouse point on the board. Who's going to get it? Scrambled up. This could call for another stall. They say stay adjacent to each other, and it does happen. Wow. Love the heart. You hit it right on the head. A lot of heart, and you said a lot of family-orientated stuff for the Iowa Central women's team so far, so I'm excited to see what happens moving forward. And, looks like possibly an injury early on here for Monaco. Working out on that ankle. So far, if you don't mind me asking, what weight class are you at now?
I am at 136.
You're at 136. So with some of the girls, who do you usually wrestle with most for your partners?
Princess Aldi. She's actually the starter for tonight.
She's a starter for tonight. So probably her you're looking forward to most watching for that match tonight?
Probably. I mean, I'd love to watch all these girls, but it's kind of nice just being able to see your partner out there on the mat.
There you go. Taking advantage of that ankle now, sucking it in and flipping up, but still got to work around, get behind the hips, and get that leg free to get to. There are 50 seconds remaining in this first period. Keep in mind, folks, there's 2 3-minute periods, and in between a 30-second break. Working, got it down, looking to get the shoulders down as well. Back points, pin. How about that for the very first win?
That is amazing.
Off the first true match. Put it down in the history books. Diana Pineda is your very first Iowa Central women's, not only pin maker, score, but also very first winner on the mat in Hodges Fieldhouse.
There'll be a lot of history made tonight.
Oh, man, that is awesome. She did a great job at just kind of keeping cool as well. She sat back on her hips, always pushed back, waited for her moment, and she took it right when it came in best. And then she flattened her out.
She did.
So now we're tied at 5, coming into the 116-pound weight class. It's Caitlin Younger out of Paola, Kansas. Whoa, we got action early here. She's taking on Flavia Nagatoni, wrestling for the Reivers. I was reading out the stats there. So takedown did not count there. They're yet to fix the board, it looks like. Well, hang on. Here we see here. Now, not only do you have Coach Hensley, but you also have Coach Keaton Gertz as an assistant, coming off of a national championship season in his sophomore season for the Iowa Central Tritons. What does he bring to the table, especially with being so recently graduated from Iowa Central?
We kind of like to call him the big brother. He's not afraid to tell us what we're doing wrong, and it's kind of nice him being straight out of college. He has that. It's just a different look, you know. Coach Zach has a lot of his own looks too, but it's just nice being able to relate to him in a sense where he just finished his season.
Certainly. There's the first takedown for Iowa Western on the night. Awarded to Flavia Nagatoni. She's going to try to work that half Nelson there. What should the bottom Triton do there? Looks like she's going to work into a neutral stance.
I believe Caitlin just needs to stay low and be on her game. You know, whenever you take a shot like that, you just got to finish it. You got to keep your feet running. You got to stay off your knees and keep your head into her.
And it does look like the score is at 6-0 right now, folks. So that was correct from earlier. So they bump up now to 8-0. Adding those back points momentarily ago. Half Nelson trying to jerk her over to the side. What have you been impressed with so far from Flavia for Iowa Western so far?
She has some pretty heavy hips, you know. She has really good reaction time. Caitlin goes in there on a shot, and she's just ready for it and sprawling right away.
Mm-hmm. Doing a good job at keeping balanced, isn't she?
She is, yeah, and she has her butt to the center, so she doesn't have to worry about a push-out point.
Working inside. Uh-oh. Coming down for a blast double. Taking her to the mat. Hey, I like the battle, though, from Younger. She does get sent to her back. Got to flip over, though. Uh-oh, she's got an elbow as well as a shoulder down. Trying to spin free of it. A tough spot here and so close to the outer edge circle. Come on, Younger. Now, there you go. You get both feet out of bounds there off that first inner circle, or that second inner circle. And you're free, but it's going to be 15 over for the Iowa Western side, so they're going to go up another 4. Coming up next for the 123-pound weight class, Pacey Lee out of Nebraska City, Nebraska for the Iowa Central Tritons, and then Laura Lee Wydra, the 123-pound weight class. Team score so far, 9-5. The Reivers are on top. You can see here a little bit different action so far here. Instead of locking up with double front headlocks, it's more kind of the shoulder taps and flies. There you go, lock. With these 3-minute-long periods, you think as a wrestler you'd rather be locked in a front headlock like most of these girls have been doing early on, or maybe both kind of centered back and forth between each other?
Well, I prefer kind of in the middle. You know, one thing that we like to hit on in freestyle rather than folk style, it's a little different, is head-to-head and not ear-to-ear. So getting that ear-to-ear, you're kind of locked up and there's not much action. But then whenever you're separated like that, it's kind of hard to find a shot too. So getting that in between is where I like to hang out.
Certainly. Sitting at 0-0, the team score is 9-5. Pacey Lee for the Tritons battling currently. Nice headlock, throwing her down, old school style, but wow, what a great job from the Reivers side to keep battling. She never got sent to her back. Well, they say so on the scoreboard. I think they're going to talk it over. I don't know, that looked like she got sent to her back in the beginning there. You may be a little biased with being a Triton.
Well, I do think she rolled through and the back exposure was there. Whether it breaks now, even if it breaks 90, that is considered back exposure. And
they do call for the score, 4-2. 4-2 in favor of the Tritons. But that was a really nice scramble Laura Lee had for the Reivers to keep battling, stayed light on her toes, worked all the way back up, and even ended up getting those reversal points. 4-2. So far, just about everything's been on their feet. Trying to find that control now. A lot of central work. You notice there that each girl is starting to get a little heavy on their feet. They're not staying as light, and look at that. Laura Lee takes advantage of it, breaks her down, spins around, and goes for 2. Ties it up at 4 with 45 seconds to go in the first. And now a nice Turk to bring her over. Still working on it. Oh, well, she's getting in kind of an interesting situation where she is running in front of the body of Pacey Lee. The officials are going to call them both up. 28 seconds to go. 6-4 the score between the individuals. Laura Lee has the lead. 15 seconds in this first period. Once again, there are two 3-minute periods with a 30-second break in between. Officials calling for action with 3 seconds to go, and it looks like that's going to wind down the first period. 6-4 after the first period. What have we seen so far from each side there?
I think, getting that first 4-point throw was a nice start to the match. Now PC's just got to make sure to stay low, and that's what Iowa Western is looking for, is us to be up and not down in our stance and kind of heavy on our feet, and they will take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that early on with that breakdown, that second takedown that was awarded for the Reivers from that first period. Took advantage of it, broke her down. I'll tell you what, this 30-second timeout between periods, I believe, is something that each side should really use advantage to. I'd like to know what the coaches are saying to the girls in between periods. Maybe we should get a coach's mic.
Yeah, a lot of it is just breathe. Don't forget to breathe.
Wow. How about that takedown? Tree top, brought her down. That's another 2. It's 10-4 now. Laura Lee pushing. Laura Lee, she's staying high, pushing on those back shoulders of Pacey Lee. She struggled a little bit with Pacey Lee when Pacey's been down on her base. Is that something you believe Pacey's strong at, or is that maybe just a weakness that Laura Lee is having so far?
No, I do believe that is something that Pacey's good at. It's a lot easier in freestyle because you can kind of stall out. There's no such thing as stalling on bottom, and Pacey's really long and strong, and that's just her advantage.
Ten to 4 in favor of Laura Lee. Still working that central. We're a minute into this final period here. So just a minute and 55 seconds remain, and she goes straight to her belly and wraps around. Oh, look at that. Trying to work those legs inside now, a different approach. You know, despite Laura Lee struggling on top, especially when we have seen Pacey Lee on her base, I've been impressed with all the moves she's tried to pull out on top. She's made to keep Pacey on her toes when she's been on her base. 12 to 4. You just joined us. I'm Hank Ambrose, joined by my side, Dixie Layson, current wrestler for the Iowa Central Tritons women's team. So we'll be with you for the rest of tonight. And don't forget, we got Triton men's later on in the broadcast, also against the Iowa Western Reivers. 12 to 4 in this bout currently at the 123-pound weight class, locking in. It's going to bring her up 10 at least, 14 to 4. And They will call for the tech fall win. Got to 10, and that's good enough for freestyle. So we've seen 2 tech fall wins now from the Reivers side. What do you think the Tritons have been struggling with, giving up so many points early on?
I think what we really need to work on is hand fighting. You know, everything stems from that initial hand fight. If you show a weakness, they will attach to that and they will use it to their advantage. So making sure those inside ties, clearing off those collars so they can't snap you down.
And, you know, as well as that, comparing that to the men's side, you got to get to 15 for it to be a tech fall there, especially at the high school level. Now with it being at 10, you really have no room for error.
There is no room, and it goes by fast if you are not careful.
For next weight class, wrestling for the Reivers at the 130-pound weight class, Shannon Steele, and for the Tritons, Bronwyn Brenneman from Parnell, Iowa. Got 0 in the bout, battling hard here, trying to go for that wrist control. You must know Coach Hensley well, because that's exactly what Brenneman's came out to try to do, is get control of that first fist fight to grab in on the wrists.
Yeah, he says keep them moving and keep them on their toes.
Right there, got down to the ankle, went top to bottom. Now it will stay in neutral. Really nice job circling that. You know, the Tritons have done a really good job all night so far. Each time they've been in a situation where there's been a scramble to give up a takedown, most of the time they've came out on top and letting the stall happen to go back top neutral. Flat in the bout so far. The team score 13-5. Hank Ambrose and Dixie Layson with you tonight. On Triton Nation's YouTube channel, we got history in Hodges Fieldhouse. Bronwyn Brenneman, to me so far, has been the aggressor. Oh, she gets in there. Front headlock, but got to fly away. Does do a good job at bailing out here. She's got that crossface in now. How should she finish this?
She needs to find an anchor point. So anchor either to that hamstring or to that ankle and get behind as soon as she can. She's cleared those arms. That's all she's got to do.
She's circling those feet. Got another chicken wing in to try to throw. Uh-oh, to her top, though. We got 55 seconds left in the period, and now she ended up on her belly. Steele did a good job at staying low. They're going to call for stall. Well, hang on now. And they do give 2. .40 seconds remain in this first period. It looked like they gave 2, but I don't see anything on inside Hodges Fieldhouse on the scoreboard. So we'll keep it flat at 0. Nice. Single leg locked in. 25 seconds to go. Got to be clutch. Working in. Granby style. Uh-oh. Got to keep a base, and she does just that. Brenneman stays on top and gets the takedown. 4-0 working now. He's got 5 seconds to flip her. Trying to go chest to chest. Count the lights. Bring it in really close, and no. Just closing out the period. She will get some back points awarded for her from the Brenneman side. Let's see what she'll do.
No, now freestyle, we don't get back points.
No back points.
No, it's every time they break 90, that is 2 points.
I see.
It took us a while to get used to that as well.
I'm sure that's going to take me some time as well. And while we're in this break here, what are some other notable differences between folk style and freestyle off the top of your head?
So like you had mentioned already, the different periods I think is the biggest thing to get used to. And then if you do get a throw with back points, it's about 4 points. Sometimes you can get 5 if their feet go above their head, and just that back exposure really gets you.
Gotcha. Nice. Reeled her back, got her shoulders down. 1, 2, 3. There's a pin. Another one for the Tritons. That should add 5 to the home score. 13-10. Coming up next is the 136-pound weight class. We mentioned this earlier. We have a wrestler subbing in for you. It's going to be Princess Altizi?
Yes.
Princess Altizi subbing in for the Tritons. Callisto Waterby going to be wrestling at the 136-pound weight class for the Reivers. It's going to be interesting. What has Princess been doing in preparation to fill in for her varsity spot without having you in the varsity lineup?
She's been
Oh, it looks like maybe a forfeit.
Oh.
Let's see here.
To answer your question, Hank, Princess has been wrestling with some girls that are around our weight class. You know, it's kind of different not being able to have your typical partners. So I've been just trying to cheer her on from the sidelines, giving as much advice as I can, and encouraging in any way possible.
Now it looks like a wrestler is coming out. Does it look like that is Princess?
That is Princess,
okay.
Yes.
Princess Altizi coming out. Wrestling Callisto Waterby. Princess Altizi out of Shiprock, New Mexico. 13-11 as far as the team score goes. The Reivers, they're on top. As we go from neutral. A nice breakdown straight to her back. Squeeze her. Get one more arm locked in there. She's got an arm free. She's got her shoulders down, but got to get an arm locked. She's going to switch now to try to get that half Nelson, bringing her forward. 4-0. Now, getting that 4, like you said, that is due to a 90-degree break?
Yes. So
okay.
as if you take them down, automatically 2 points. But if you take them home with take them down with back exposure. That is where the 4 points comes from.
Sounds good. Hey, I gotta say, really appreciate you joining the broadcast because I was not even aware that this was freestyle tonight. Wow, really nice fireman carry, bringing her down. That's gonna be another 4. Okay, I'm getting the flow of this now. This is making sense. 8-0. Now you say you're from Ohio?
I am from Columbus, Kansas.
Columbus, Kansas.
Yes.
Some part of Columbus.
Yes.
I heard. Okay, so. At the high school level, is women's wrestling used to seeing freestyle as well, or is that all over the place?
That is a completely new style for high school.
Okay, look at that, already 10. 3 throws in a row with that back exposure, and Princess. Now, is that her first varsity start?
That is.
Wow, so congratulations to her. And congratulations to you because I'm sure you had to push her really hard to prepare
I did, yeah.
for that match.
Well, actually, I have been sitting out. I tore my ACL, so I did. So I have not been on the mat with them.
Gotcha. Sorry to hear that.
It's a good. You know, everything happens for a reason.
(15 to 13). Tritons take their lead right back. Here comes that 143-pound weight class where we mentioned in the pregame that there was going to be a forfeit from the Reivers side, so the Tritons going to go up another 5. 20 to 13 now as far as the team score goes. Reivers on top with 17 points. As now we're going to jump all the way up to the 155-pound weight class. Fernie Hernandez from Iowa Western going to be taking on Maria Elizondo from Humboldt, Iowa. And I always like to see local kids come into the Iowa Central program. Of course, this Central Iowa area is really huge. Fort Dodge Senior High School, one of the best programs at the high school level in the nation, for sure in the state. Humboldt, no doubt about it, they have a lot of success as well. It's really good to see her join the Triton team. Gives up the 2 early, but she gets straight to her belly, so as we've learned now, That's just 2 rather than the 4 from Dixie. 2-0. Nice single leg inside, but got to work around there. Now, when you get down, oh my goodness.
And see, that's 2 points. Even if you're not on top and you get a throw, that is 2 back points.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that is some wild strength. Very impressive from the 155 class. From Fernie Hernandez. And that really is a tough situation because Maria was in a spot where she could have tied it up with a takedown there, or it looked like it was about to happen. As you notice there, it's also 5-0. Did I miss something?
I think they gave her 1 for the reversal and 2 for the back exposure.
I see. Then adding another 2 there, 7-0. It looks like we have a blood timeout to get that checked over real quick from the knee of Fernie. So far, 20-13. We're over halfway through this duel. It's gone by very quickly.
It has.
Closing out, we're going to see the 170-pound weight class with Brianna Araujo, excuse me. Larissa Gallo going to be her competitor, and then the 191 class will be open from the Triton side, so got to have that in the back of our minds. Giving up a forfeit. It's going to be 5 from Iowa Western, so despite being 20-13 on the team score, you can look ahead in the future and think, well, it's technically 20-18. So really we got this match, the 170-pound match, and then the 235-pound match.
Do we have a forfeit? We should have Miranda Bell there at 191.
Oh, that's right. I did write that down. Just didn't have that on the text. 2013. From the team score, 7-0. Now getting a little desperate, it looks like there, as she gets around for another 2. It's 9-0, 1 away from giving up attack. 55 seconds remain. Well, you're a point away from getting attack. Iowa Central here with Maria. What should Maria do to not give up that last point there?
She needs to be on her attack. You know, we've seen the attack from the other girl, and she just needs to work what she's been working and finish her shot once she gets in on it.
How soon should she work in on those back points?
As soon as she can. As soon as she gets that, let's say she shoots a single leg, immediately go to that lace once you have that leg and just keep it rolling and get as many points as you can.
I shouldn't say back points, but back positioning. Because down 9-0 here, really in a tough spot. Are you thinking pin here? Is probably the question I should ask.
I'm thinking do not get pinned. Now,
Don't get too aggressive.
Exactly, yeah. Now, for Maria, absolutely look for that pin. But if you cannot, then just number one thing, do not give up a pin.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's one more team point added onto the total rather than a tech fall. 9-0 after 1. We got 30 seconds. And this is where the mental toughness comes in if you're down 9. Because at the end of the day, you want to wrestle hard, wrestle strong, but you also want to play it conservative. If not giving up that pin as possible, then do just that. It'd be fantastic if you can even battle back, get within, is it within 4? Excuse me, for it to not be a major victory?
I do believe so, yes.
Okay, so that may be still the same from folk style. 9-0, just a point away from getting a tech. getting in on that single leg, bellying out, and they will give her that final takedown score, tech fall from the Western side. All righty. It's going to add another. Now they had 4 there. Just had 13. 2017, what we got right now. Let's get back to it. To the 170-pound weight class we go. The Tritons with Brianna Arujo. And on the Reivers side, Larissa Gallo. These girls a little bit, they're standing a little taller than the lighter weights we've seen so far. With your opponent standing up higher, is that something you would want to match, or is the goal to always stay low there?
Now you want to stay low, but it's always an advantage if you catch your partner standing up, and really all you have to do there is just level change and shoot straight through them and just keep running your feet.
When your opponent is standing straight up like that, you'd think you would be able to be a little quicker on your feet in a more crouched position.
Yeah, now you say that, and it's kind of hard once you try to lock up with them, because then no matter what, you kind of just match their positioning.
And kind of a standing duck under, and got her down there. 2-0 with no back exposed. Here we go, 2-0. So Larissa goes heavy on the head. They're working on it outside, and
that is another thing that's different from folk style. You get any part of your foot out, and it is a push-out point.
It is, okay.
And there's no stalling. You can even lock your hands on bottom, and as soon as both shoulders hit, that is an automatic pin. You do not have to have back points. You don't have to have one and then the other. As soon as both of them hit, it is automatic pin.
So let's say you're in a situation like we saw from earlier, where we're not, both shoulders are down, but you're in a pinning position, but you're working along the perimeter, working on trying to get both feet out. So you're giving up 2 points even if you get both feet out.
So you want to run through no matter what. And if you are on your back and you get both feet out, it's no extra points. They might get 1 extra point for a push out, but that's about it. And if you are intentionally on bottom and scooting out of bounds, then you will come back in and start on parterre.
I see. So unless you are on your back working out of bounds, otherwise you're giving up outside points.
Correct.
Gotcha. 4-0 early on here. Once again, they stay top heavy, trying to break her down with a throw, but she ends up on her own back. It's Brianna. She's got to work out of it. Gets back to a base. Then she gets turned right back over, looking for a pin. Got a battle here. Last ride, 5 seconds to go in the period. Ride her out, come on. Work, Brianna, try to flip. And she hangs on. And here comes the 30 seconds. So now Tritons in back-to-back bouts where they've been scoreless from their end and have given up 3 or more takedowns in the first period on their opponent's side. Six 0 coming in. 15 seconds through this second period here. Looks like Larissa changes up her game plan. She's now sticking to more of a crouching look. She tries to circle now. Well, I've noticed so far with Brianna, she's kind of, she switched up both of her pointer feet. It looks like another takedown. Going to be 8-0. But she's switched up both of her pointer feet. Usually they ask you to lead with one and kind of stick with one, but is that something that's maybe different in women's?
I think that's her different preferred style. Most of us do just have a lead foot, but you also are more of a threat if you can approach with both feet.
Certainly, ambidextrous almost.
Yes.
But also I can see that maybe even being taken advantage of you if you're not set up right away, ready to go. As we've seen now 4 takedowns against Brianna so far. 8-0, one more takedown away from getting another tech over on the Reivers side. I like it. Try to go for an inside look. Get that single leg. Uh-oh, got to suck it in now. She let go. What do you do here? Uh-oh, got to circle, got to circle. She'll give it up. There's another tech. As they add 4 onto the board. 21-20. Reivers get their lead right back, and I was wrong earlier. I totally forgot I had written down Miranda Bell, just didn't have her on the pregame sheet. So here she is now for the 191-pound class. Miranda Bell wrestling against Urissa Gallo, the twin sister of Larissa. It'll be interesting to see how similar these twins are as far as their wrestling goes. Got on that ankle there, forcing the head down. Reached again. Now, is this where, as a wrestler, you keep kind of trying to reach and go for that ankle and trying to stay aggressive?
Well, if it didn't work the first time, it always doesn't hurt to try a second time. Now, the third time, I would try probably a different approach or try pulling that leg to you so you don't have to reach as far for it.
I see. And another thing you may notice, no headgear. Of course, that's accepted at the collegiate level. But we kind of saw there Miranda Bell had a hair flip.
Yes.
And she didn't look for 1 second, and next thing you know, we saw Gallo getting a takedown. Is there a preferred ponytail or bun to use?
Well, usually we braid hair. So
okay.
I braided about 6 girls' hair
Oh, wow.
before this. Yeah, kind of the team hair braider in a way. Usually, but that's usually her practice style. So I guess if that makes her comfortable, then that's what she can stick with.
Certainly. That's something definitely to look out for, however.
Yes.
Moving forward. 2-0.
Coach always jokes and says he's going to get us those swimming caps so we don't have to mess with our hair at practice.
Sure. I've graduated, so when I was in high school, I had to wear short hair when I was a wrestler. But so now I've let my liberty go, and I've grown mine out. Working in now on that single, but she's to her back shoulders out of position, and she's squeezing in on a front headlock. Uh-oh, but she's reaching behind her.
Yeah, she needs to get that arm back.
Always a tough spot when you reach behind yourself because it exposes an open area, and that's what happened there. Now it is 3-2. 45 seconds remain in this first period, and they call to go back into neutral. "35 seconds. Miranda Bell trying to get her first lead of the bout. We're down to the final 2 bouts in this one, and then the 235 class. Getting down to the wire. 21-20 is a team score. Reivers are on top. Tritons got a battle from behind. 15 seconds to go now. It's been an even contest so far between Miranda and Urissa. They go back and forth, and they just kind of go and end up standing in the central part of the circle to close out. 30 seconds here. So far, Miranda has had to battle back the whole entire time. She was down 3-0 at one point. What should she do to change her approach in the second period?
As you could see earlier, she got in on that shot. She just did not finish. So just really running those feet, keeping your knees underneath you, whether you get extended or not. You know, typical knee slide drill, just get your knees back underneath you and pull that leg in.
Here we go. 3 minutes on the board. We're in the final period of the 191-pound class. It's also good to see the band in support tonight for the inaugural season and the very first home meet or duel, you could say, for the Tritons women's team as well as the Tritons men's side, who are coming up after this contest. Make sure you stick around for the men's to compete against Iowa Western. 30 seconds into it, 2:30 remains in the second period. It's goal to go here. Looks like trying to get a battle for a wrist there. Trying to work outside. Gets to the back. Really nice job defending off that wrist. Still pushing. She's marked out of bounds, but hey, there's that 1 point she gives up, like you mentioned earlier. She backed away from inbounds. 4-2, 1:55 remains in the second period. Got to get going. Looks like each side is starting to get a little gassed here. What can you do to keep yourself conditioned late in the stages here if you're a wrestler?
Are you talking about at practice or while you're on the mat?
I was thinking more so on the mat.
Okay.
In a situation where you're really tired here and you're kind of standing on both feet.
You just, for me personally, I just think of, well, it's only 3 minutes. You know, you get that 3 minute period and then you get that break and you go back out there for 3 minutes and you just got to keep pushing. You got to have back in the mindset. You have to have the mental toughness that, oh, I've been here before. I can push through this. I've been more tired than this, and you've got to want it and go out like you want to win.
Certainly. Now, you said just 3 minutes, but it is a long 3 minutes.
It is. It goes, sometimes it flies by, other times it just drags, so.
Speaking of, this one's going by quick now. Just 40 seconds remain in the second period. It's 4-2. Urissa has the lead, getting in on a shot. Oh, Miranda gets back to her neutral stance. 30 seconds to go. It looks like she's got double underhook. Gonna give it up. 22 seconds. Battling, getting behind. Uh-oh, giving up the back. 6-2, 10 seconds remain. I think the best shot you have here is maybe a Granby roll. Try to stick her on her back. 5 seconds, getting down to the wire. That's going to close the bout. That one falls to a decision, 6-2. And there's your answer for you. So with it being just a 4 score and a decision, they just add 3 to the board. 24-21 as we head into the 235-pound weight class. It comes down to this match. As a wrestler, as a teammate, what are you feeling like right now?
Oh, you can feel it deep down in your stomach. You know, I know Addie personally. You know, we room together, so it's the, you know, the feeling of, you know, she can do this, so you just got to keep the energy going. You in your mind, you've got to think I can do this and have that mental toughness and just relax and go out there and do what you practice.
Certainly. This is Addison Hirschberger out of Decorah, Iowa for the Tritons. She's taking on Zaria Jordan at the 235 and final weight class tonight for the Iowa Central women's wrestling team. As you can see on the board right there, 24-21. Reivers have the advantage here. The Reivers have won 4 in a row, 4 bouts in a row. Tritons had a 20-9 lead at one point. Pushing outside, you can see it's been a battle of just pushing. Haven't seen a lot of snaps so far tonight. Have you guys so far early on in the season been working just kind of on the fundamentals, or have you been adding more and more stuff to your corral?
More so like if we have a tournament on the weekend, we learn a couple of things based off of the tournament the past weekend, just perfecting those moves. We did work more fundamental beginning of the season, but we have been trying to add some new moves in there just to get a new look.
I see. And looky down there, 2-0 takedown, trying to take her to her back. 1 minute and 30 seconds remain. You can see her teammates there cheering her on. It's Addison Hirschberger for the Tritons. Try to get in on that crossface, maybe turn it into a crossface cradle there, but time expired as they go back neutral. 2-0, 1:20 remains in the first period. So if this closes on a decision, this could be a tie here, 24-24.
Like I had mentioned earlier, these have been some good matches.
It's big time now, 55 seconds remaining in this first period. Once again, there's 2 periods, 3 minutes apiece with a 30-second break in between them. 45 seconds remain now in the first. Hirschberger has the lead. It broke her down earlier. But Hirschberger, to get a team victory, would have to win by 5 points or more.
I do believe she's going to have to keep the other girl from scoring as well, because whether you get 1 point or 2 points up the board, I do think that is a point for your team.
20 seconds remains now. 15 seconds. Coming down to the wire, Hirschberger. And that's the closing second right there. Whistle blows. I love that mindset of Hirschberger. Sprints right back to Coach Hensley, gets a drink, and talks it over. Well, here we go. 2-0 heading into the final period tonight. You brought up a really good point a moment ago that get 1 on the board, and that's 1 team point. Even if you end up losing the decision, the match.
Yep, Coach, we had a nice long talk about that this morning at practice. He said no matter what, just keep fighting, and you've got to just believe that that's what the other team's coming in with that mindset as well.
So this could certainly be decided within 1 point. If she lets up 1 point here, then the Tritons will have to win by 5 or more to at least even tie it. Here we go, Hirschberger. 2:55 remains. So we just begin the second and final period to play. Went heavy on the head early here. Now she's trying to back away. I see Hirschberger. Also with an ambidextrous look. She moves forward. 2:30 remains. .220. Zaria Jordan doing a good job. Just kind of sticking to her guts. But at the same time, you got to think if you're Zaria, you got to get a point.
Yes, you do.
Whether that's forcing her out of bounds or doing something. .155 remains now. Got a single leg in. Uh-oh. It's where you reel back. Try to go for a crossface maybe, or try to sprawl out, fly away. Gets in on the outside of that front leg there. Oh, they're working. This may be called back to neutral. Got to work.
I don't know. All Addie's got to do is crossfade hard, get that anchor point. She should get it.
Come on.
Yeah.
She gets there. There you go. Kudos to the official for letting them wrestle. 1:30 remains in this final period. She's trying to get for that. Tried to go for that half, but
that
no.
is another thing. You've got about 10 to 15 seconds on top. You got to keep running what you have aggressively, or else the official will call you back up.
Well, here you go. You get one more takedown, and if you hold her to nothing, then the Tritons win it. Jeez. Hirschberger, she's in a really tough spot here because, you know, she could just sit around and end up getting her own sole victory, but doing it for the team, she's going to have to go an extra mile or so. Exactly 55 seconds to go in this final period to wrestle. Here we go. Bands on their feet. The sides are on their feet. You see Coach Hensley right there with Keaton Gertz. I should say Coach Gertz. 45 seconds remain. Zaria standing straight up. Hirschberger, the aggressor, working onside. With 30 seconds to go. .25. She keeps rolling. Like that 20. 15. I can hear Coach Hensley from outside yelling to go for it. Uh-oh, got in on a shot. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Make it. Got to break it and roll. Break it and roll. Keep going. Oh, Tritons are saying she got it. Did she get it? Let's see. I didn't see a call from the official. I think we're going to be tied at 24 apiece. Oh, man. We were just a hair away from getting just that one more score. Great stuff from Hirschberger. Love to see the sportsmanship. Looks like we're going to end in a tie here. Well, there you have it. The very first women's wrestling duel held in Hodges Fieldhouse ends in a tie, 24-24. My guess for the women's side tonight, Dixie Layson, also a wrestler for the Iowa Central Tritons. How do you think this has gone for the Tritons?
Oh, man, I think this went very well. We came in ranked 6th. They came in ranked 2nd. So, you know, there's always that doubt in the back of your mind of, oh, my goodness, you have those nerves. And, you know, for me personally, and I bet for a lot of these girls, a tie is better than a loss. You know, it's not as good as a win, but it gets you where you needed to be.
Certainly is. I feel like that was a very productive night. Not only was it successful from both sides and exciting to see from both sides, but the Tritons, they are the ones that ended on the high note. They ended off with the victory. Iowa Western didn't, and that makes me even more happy knowing how deep the Blue Blood rival runs. All in all, really great duel. 24-24, going to be the final team score between the two sides. It'll be interesting now. Are they going to count up anything, maybe the takedowns, or to see the official decider? I think we should keep it right here just in case they do.
I agree with you, and like I had said earlier, I'm kind of new to this whole freestyle, so it'd be interesting to see what the decision is.
Now at the high school level for boys, there are times where they will count tech falls, or possibly they'll even count the amount of personal fouls. I hear exhibition match, so these should be some JV wrestlers. Does that sound right?
That does sound correct.
Okay, and I heard the 120-pound weight class, which I'm going to think is 123 or 116.
I believe it's 130.
Oh, is it 130?
130,
okay.
yes.
So here we go from the JV side. We're going to keep on broadcasting this just without the graphics to show for you. It's 24-24, once again, the final team score. Now looking down here, since I'm still unfamiliar trying to match names to faces, who is this for the Tritons?
This is Anna Sondel.
This is Sondel, okay.
Yes. And she is from Boone, Iowa.
She's going to work on that front grapple right away, I notice. And I believe on the Reivers side, she's wrestling against Abby Ahrens. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like Aaron's going to get around. Just got to shove her to the ground. Look at that. Going to spin, expose her back. There's 4. 4-0 early for Ahrens. So now she's going to try to suck up that wrist, put it behind her. Oh, these hurt. Is there a move you like to be put in the least?
I would say the arm bar. That does hurt quite a bit, but once you get that lace locked up and you're running it and you're trying to defend that, I would say that does not feel the greatest either.
Oh man, the arm bar, yeah. Ball and chain was another one I hated as a high school wrestler. Nice throw. Woo!
Right on the edge. She did that perfectly.
A really nice pop from the student section on the Triton side. Love to hear that. 4-4. She got that back exposure as well. Really nice takedown from Sondel. Overall, as a team, from kind of what we've seen so far, you think there's a specific area that the Tritons could improve on as a team from that varsity meet?
I would say keeping good head position. I think that is where we lacked more than anything, and not finishing our shots. Now that kind of has been an issue. We get in, we kind of get stuck on our legs and stuck on our knees, and then from there it's kind of hard to do anything. And going out and being aggressive off the first whistle blow, I think that is a major thing as well.
So that's going to be 8-4 now. And the beauty of it, there's always room for improvement right at the beginning of the season.
There is, yes. Our coaches are very good at sensing that, and the next practice we spend basically just drilling, going over the things that they believe that we should work on.
Now, y'all started your season before the Thanksgiving break, which I know as a wrestler, just about every wrestler can agree with this, is always tough because then you can't go home and enjoy your dinner.
That is very true, and you know, sometimes you eat a little bit more than you should, and then you just have to come back and work it off.
Nice headlock, gonna put her in a tough spot here. Shoulders down. Count the lights, sit back and relax. Checking. There's a pin for Sondel. How about that? Coming back from behind. She was down 4-8 right before she threw in that headlock. She gets a big pop from the crowd as well. Good stuff. She gets victory over what I believe to be Abby Ahrens. We are up in the crow's nest and can't hear our PA man perfectly, so we're going to have to kind of take a guesstimated approach from the rest of this way through. But good thing we got a teammate and a wrestler with the Tritons here. Who is this for the Tritons?
This is Hadley. Not for sure on her last name.
Oh, I got a list here. Yeah, Hadley here. She's wrestling against what I believe to be Madeline Plotz. Plotz goes right away. Nice duck under to work around, 2-0. Hadley Hood.
Yes, that does sound correct.
Out of Unita, Utah. Unita? I'm not for sure. That might be a misspelling.
I am not for sure on that. I just know she's from Utah. That's about as far as that goes.
She's out of Utah. Another question I had for you. By the way, you've done great so far. I wasn't even expecting any guest appearances or color appearances, so
well,
thank you for joining me.
I appreciate it.
But you've done fantastic, and shoot, I'd probably be all over the place, not ready for this freestyle thing. But I wanted to ask you, with women's wrestling just being a brand spanking new thing at the collegiate level, and still new in a lot of places at the high school level, as far as, and maybe you don't really know this answer because you still are trying to get to know your teammates and other wrestlers on the team and such, how many of the wrestlers on the team have experience wrestling at the high school level, and how many kind of are just coming on and wrestling for maybe the first time?
So I think there's only two that have done this for brand new. We have one girl for sure who this was her first season whatsoever. We have a couple girl who've had about a month or two experience. Then there's me and another girl who've just wrestled once in high school. And then there's quite a few, ranges from 2 to 3, maybe 4 years if you're lucky. And then we have a couple that have been wrestling for 10 years or so. Now, I think the biggest question would be how much freestyle experience do you have? Now, that varies even more, but even being on the mat, I'd say is it an advantage.
Getting back into this one. Good stuff from there. 7-4 is the score. We got Hadley on top here. From your experience, you said you had that 1 year in high school wrestling. Now, was that all women's wrestling, or is that combined intergender wrestling?
That was all women's wrestling.
That was all women's
It has been sanctioned in Kansas. This will be the 4th year.
Okay. Another takedown, 2 without the back exposure, 9-4. That's going to close off the first period. So Hadley Hood is on top, 9-4. Once again, I have her down as going against Madeline Potts. If you could you talk about the support that the wrestling team has gotten so far since this is the inaugural season for Iowa Central Women's Wrestling?
I mean, the support here is amazing. You walk into town and you have anything on that says wrestling, you get talked to by a lot of people. They ask how you're doing, how the season is going, how the coaches are doing, if there's anything, and how when the next home duel is, if there is that possibility. So no matter where you go or even walking around here, everybody knows who we are, which is kind of intimidating to start off, but it is also nice to know that there is people here who are watching out to see how we do.
Certainly. Updating you on the score. 2:35 remains in the second period. It's 11-4 now as Hadley Hood going to go back central in neutral. As far as recruiting goes, because Fort Dodge is such a huge wrestling town, how much did that play into factor when, as far as kind of recruiting as a prospect, as a high school wrestler?
So like I mentioned earlier, this is my sophomore year, so I was coming off a different college in Kansas, and I was actually running cross country up there. And so I would say the connections back home did a lot. My high school coach and Coach Hensley used to wrestle together. So basically just researching, and then Zach keeps a really good eye out for. He's always checking on other people, seeing how they are doing, and he always has like a list of names that he checks up on, and very open to anybody who even reaches out. He is more than happy to get you here on a visit and see what we can do for you.
Fantastic. By the way, pin, didn't mean to cut you off there, but now another pin, that one for Hadley Hood for the second JV match. But that sounds good. The connections are huge. They go a very long way. Now, just like Big Brother Keaton Gertz, the assistant coach, Coach Hensley is also an Iowa Central Triton graduate. His last season was in 2017, I believe. So once again, it goes back to that family-oriented style from the team. It's nice to have those close connections and to keep them all throughout your tenure, because Hensley, he's a guy that was not even like an assistant for the men's even. He was brought in from that connection. So 5 years bringing Coach Hensley back home, that's going to do wonders for this program. I'm going to be really excited to see where he takes us.
You and me both.
Good deal. 2:35 remains as we got the third JV exhibition match. Who do we have wrestling now for the Iowa Central Tritons?
This is Katie. I'm not sure of her last name either.
Well, that's okay. We got some pictures that I can pull up. It's like Katie Schlosser.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, Katie Schlosser out of Colfax, Iowa, in the third JV match. It's 2-1. Katie on top. Her opponent. Who would you say they're wrestling?
That is a good question.
We did not get name confirmations for the JV exhibition matches, but who I believe this is I believe this is Hernandez. No, this is Perez. This is Ileana Perez.
I do believe you are correct on that.
That's the best I can do for. I'm taking her hair color into factor here, and that's one of the last black hair colors we see from the western side.
Yes.
Back to it. Perez has the lead 5-3, but she's in the bottom position. Working on those legs. What did the Triton do there that she could have done better in trying to flip her over?
Keeping that pressure up. Once you get those legs locked up, you know, the defense is to bring your knees to your chest. So just keeping those and lifting those legs up and just keeping your feet running and rolling her, and that's about the best you can do.
Working back to it. Going to award some more points to tie it up 5-5 for Perez. We have 25 seconds remaining here in this first period. Make that 10 now, moving forward. 5 seconds remains. Into the 30-second timeout we go before we hit that second 3-minute period, 5-5. We talked about the support in the last 30-second break from the fans and the community here in Fort Dodge, Iowa. How about from the men's team? How has that been like?
Oh, I'd say that there's just an amazing connection there. You know,
Good.
the guys are excited and excited to see the girls wrestling. I've heard of some exchanging of shirts and jerseys, so that way the boys like, hey, I want a shirt that says women's wrestling on it. So pretty amazing. Everybody checks up on us and sees how we are doing.
It's really good stuff to hear.
Pretty funny. We had a combined practice this morning at 6 o'clock, and you get all those men and all these women together, and that room is packed.
Wow. Wow. Which was going to be my next question is, how do the practices work? But we'll hit that in the next 30-second.
Perfect.
Getting back to it, Katie Schlosser once again. She's in this match, taking on Perez for Iowa Western. It's 5-5. Flipping over, getting, oh, well, you're not parallel there. Got to get chest to chest. Still looking for the pin. If you get that shoulder down, could count. And if you squeeze, she's got an arm locked. Oh, tough spot here. 9-5 currently is the score. Perez on top. And they do call for a pin. Now, I heard Brownie that time. We've been saying Perez, but that is actually Mackenzie Parsons. Got it official that time.
Okay.
See what's to come next.
I do believe that is their first pin of the night.
That is their first pin. Yeah, even counting for varsity, that is their first pin. In the varsity matches, they had a total of 4 techs. 2 forfeits in favor of the Reivers, and 1 decision that was 6-2 for the Tritons. I had them with just 1 pin, a forfeit, a tech fall, a 4-0 decision. That's what I have for the Tritons. Once again, the varsity final team score, 24-24. It looks like that's going to be it for the women's side. The men's are coming out, starting to warm up. We got that action coming up in just a little bit. If you'd like to, you're more than welcome to stick around. Appreciate you, though, for joining us for the women's coverage tonight on Triton Nation's YouTube channel.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Once again, for the women's coverage, I'm Hank Ambrose, and joined by my side, Dixie joins us. And hopefully in the next home meet, we can have you back wrestling.
Hopefully.
Sounds good. Otherwise, we're going to throw it to a break. We'll be right back with more in store. The men's are next against the Iowa Western Reivers. Make sure you stick around on Triton Nation's YouTube channel.
CNOS is proud to be your orthopedic and sports medicine providers.
You can visit our clinic knowing you will receive the best orthopedic care in the area.
Located at Unity Point, we offer quality care to address any bone or joint problems.
We are committed to providing the best possible care to the communities we serve.
CNOS, proud sponsors of the Iowa Central Tritons.
Go Tritons!
Triton Nation, welcome back to your home broadcast. The Iowa Central Tritons taking on the Iowa Western Reivers. We just got through the very first wrestling meet for the Iowa Central Tritons. That was for the women's team out in Hodges Fieldhouse. That was super exciting. Once again, thank you, Dixie, from the wrestling team, who was injured tonight, couldn't participate in the contest, so she's joined me in the booth for color analysis. She did a fantastic job. I'm Hank Ambrose. If you did not know, I'll be with you the rest of tonight. Here is the men's taking on the Iowa Western Reivers. Not only are we not doing women's, but we're not doing freestyle. We're back to folk style. It's what I know best. And I did not realize we're doing freestyle either to begin in the women's wrestling duel tonight, so I'm happy I knew that just barely before going into it. Here we go, though. I'm ready for this one. 2-0. Here's Jackson Burks taking on Trenton Walker. Walker with the Tritons, Burks with the Reivers. 2-0 early as we saw a nice throw from Burks as he stays on top and works outside. Out of bounds, that's going to go back into the central area of the mat. Iowa Central, a lot of success last season, of course. Two fantastic wrestlers went on to be national champions between Jordan Pryor and Keaton Gertz. Now Keaton Gertz has went on to join the assistant coach's spot for the women's team. It's fantastic to have him back at Iowa Central as a coach. And last I knew of Jordan Pryor, he was looking to join the MMA. He was a heavyweight wrestler for the Tritons, of course. Time national champ, absolute stud. Began his career wrestling for Maryland before switching over before the start of his freshman season. Really cool stuff from Jordan Pryor. 1:15 remains in this first period. I hear we're doing a 3-2-2 if I'm not mistaken tonight as far as the three periods go as we begin in this 125-pound weight class. Just a minute remains here. It's 2-0. Still with Burks with the lead. Looking to get those back points. Might have got one counted there. I saw the official wave for one. Let's see. They do add 4 to the tally. 6-0. In the match, 30 seconds remain in this first period. Bring that to 15 seconds. Now what we've seen from Walker so far is he's just been struggling with hanging in there, fighting off on that downward stance. From his base, rolls over. Uh-oh, getting counted once again from his back. Now despite Walker being necessarily on top of Burks, it still counts as back points for Burks in his favor. That's going to add another 4 to the scoreboard. 10-0 early now. And once again, the tech fall goes to 15 for men's wrestling at the collegiate level, the NJCAA level, unlike women's where it went to 10. 10-0 moving forward with a nice pound on the head. Walker's with it. A breakdown, just a little duck under, moving outside. That's at least 2 for Burks. Looking to get some more back points. Counts to 3. Should be good enough for a tech fall, and he lets him up and good. That's a tech fall. It's going to be 5 for the Reivers side. Final score of the first match, 16-0 as far as back points go. Moving forward will be Lane Cowell for the 133-pound weight class for the Iowa Central Tritons. And the 133-pounder over on the Reivers side is Paul Ruff. Well, looks like we're not quite ready to go yet. Head official looked at Ruff for a second. Looks like he may be missing something. I love to see that right there. Still light on your feet, still bouncing. Lane Cowell, as he starts off low, touching the mat. Heavy on the head, shoot inside, and back straight up like a python, going for the attack. Pushing him forward, forward, forward now. Look how low Cowell gets, perfect. Like a three-point stance, shoots in, single leg takedown, gets in on a single. Holding on to his ankle here, but nice underhook with a chicken wing combo from the top man and Paul Ruff. Now, see, he's trying to work in for that Garambi there. He's got his ankle free. You know, I'll tell you what, despite Cowell being on bottom, Paul Ruff in a favorable spot of riding him out, and he does just that. So we'll get a reset back to the central part of the mat. Going for neutral. And all that work, and now a sore ankle for Cowell just to end up in nothing. It's tough to be a wrestler, man. Getting back to it, still remains flat on the scoreboard. As far as the team score goes, it's 5-0. The Reivers have the lead. Minute 55 seconds remain in this first period. We're playing best of 3 periods. We're wrestling best of 3. 1:45 now. Blown by quick. Lane Cowell, despite being tired and hurting his ankle from that last situation, still really low. Has the advantage there. Paul Ruff backing up. He's been backing up the whole entire match now. If he continues to do that through another period or period and a half even, you could see him definitely getting called for a stall. Minute and 10 seconds remain. Trying to grab for wrist control. Now you got that 1 foot out. Lane Cowell just keeping on pushing him forward, pushing him forward. 55 seconds remain. Snap, fly, works outside. Lane Cowell, what I loved what he did there was he spun himself outside and then stayed with that one leg. Got to get both legs out, both feet out, in order to be out of bounds as far as Paul Ruff's situation. He does just that. 33 seconds remain. So far, the only thing that's been keeping Paul Ruff in this is the scramble. Both situations Lane Cowell has been in had the advantage on both of them being single leg takedowns. Just couldn't finish. Got to execute. Got to cut that corner, break him down. Exactly 30 seconds to go. We're still in the first period here. Hank Ambrose with you for the rest of tonight for your Iowa Central wrestling coverage. Went for a far ankle, but backed away quickly after. 15 seconds to go. Still scoreless in the 133-pound bout. 8 seconds remain. Cowell with a battle. Now you can see him hanging his arms up there. Got a little lackadaisical right at the end there. But both guys knew that they were getting down to the wire, real down to the very end of it. Looks like going to call for a defer. As we get back into decisions and coin flips. It's unlike from what we saw in women's with it being just 2 periods. Here we go. Cowell goes down. Tried to go for a front snap there with wrist control. Worked up from under the legs. Cowell gets the first point in this one. 1-0 with the escape. 1:45 remains now. And Paul Ruff, I tell you what I didn't like from what he did right there is he didn't get straight back to a form. He kind of walked his way out of after he knew he was giving up the escape for Cowell. If Cowell just got another foot closer to him, Could have shot in on a single leg takedown. Could be in a situation where he could be up 3-0 on top of the base of Paul Ruff. Paul Ruff, he's been playing dangerous so far. Minute and 5 seconds remain in this second period. Once again, wrestling 3-2-2. As far as the 3 periods go, 55 seconds remain. Reivers have a 5-0 team score lead. Make that 45 seconds to go now. As Cowell's pushing along the interior. And to me, what it looks like so far, Cowell starting to get a little tired out there. Wrestled that whole first period, really low, butt to the mat. Now he's getting broken down, being a little more heavier on his feet. Still in good positioning, better positioning than Paul, who's been using his length to his advantage. 15 seconds remains. Blast double, working inside with a flip. Since he's on his butt, that's 2. 5 seconds remains. And it's 3-0. Lane Cowell takes the lead going into the third period. Great stuff there. Got Paul Ruff standing on both feet in a shootout. Shot from the hip and got him down 3-0. That's the first takedown in this one. Five or more to get a major for 4 points as far as team points go. 4 and less as far as a lead goes will fall into a decision. Be a minor victory, which would be 3. You can see the official there talking to him. In on a single leg takedown, but really nice reaction from Ruff. Grabbed that near ankle, but now he's still battling. Once again, using his length to his advantage. That far left leg, he's keeping it back. For Lane Cowell, you got to find a way to maybe work outside or push him down. Looks like he goes with the latter, pushing him down. Sinks in his ankle. Now you got to be flexible if you're Mr. Ruff here, otherwise you're in a tough spot. Oh, does a good job at sticking to it. Lane Cowell now gets sent to his back. That's going to be a reversal for 2. 3-2. Luckily, Cowell was super quick on that one. Didn't give up any back points. He still has the lead, 3-2. 55 seconds remain in the third period. It's go time if you're Ruff. Make that 45 seconds. You got to make a really quick decision here if you're Ruff. If you're going to let him up with an escape, then go for it. Takedown to tie it at 4. Cowell has the lead on bottom. This is prime positioning here. 30 seconds remains now in the period. 25. Grabs the base of the foot to work him. Gets to his feet, rolling, trying to lock up for a cradle. Didn't break him down, however, and Cowell's a head away from getting out with just 7 seconds to wrestle in this final period. Go, 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 he breaks free. That's a reversal for Cowell, 5-2. The 5-3 decision. The 5-2, excuse me, a 5-2 decision. Lane Cowell gets the victory. So now the team score 5-3. It stays with Iowa Western with the lead. There's Keaton Gertz right there, the younger looking guy. Lane Cowell was just a teammate with Keaton last season. I love to see that. Coach Hensley's also out there. I love to see the support from the men's guys. The men's side came out and rooted on the girls, and now paying them back are the girls' coaches. Back we go to the 141-pound weight class now. Caleb Nadig, the freshman out of Rochelle, Illinois, for the Tritons, is taking on Malachi Bordovsky with Iowa Western. Very similar beginning to what we saw in the 133-pound weight class. where the Triton was the aggressor working outside. Well, now a switch up. He's got his heels facing the perimeter. But once again, staying to being that aggressor. Nadig going in, going in. This is Nadig's first ever home meet in his collegiate career, being a true freshman out of Illinois. Tries to break him down and circle him. Great job propping him up. Not only did he get propped up to his own power with one of his legs, speaking on Malachi Bodovsky, but he used the head of Caleb Nadig to back him away. 1:20 remains in this first period. Just a fly tap. Bodovsky keeps going back to this tapping on the outside shin, but not following through with his shot. Nadig with a tap and go, no good. Staying in neutral in the central part of the mat, 55 seconds remains. Snap and getting free now. I think both wrestlers realize they're starting to just hang on each other. Ah, look at that, a fake. Now Bodovsky put himself in a situation where he stood straight up. Oh my goodness, somersault working back. He could get himself in a headlock situation here. Oh, keep going, scramble. Wow. 25 seconds remain. Heck of a flip from Nadig as he gets back up to his top. Waiting for the official score. That's going to be 2. Bodovsky with it. 2-0, 10 seconds to go in the period. 5 seconds. Looks like Bodovsky going to have the lead heading into the second. Yep, after one, Bodovsky with the lead, 2-0. And just like that 133-pound bout, we see Nadig go bottom to begin the second period. As he moves up, he's going to let him escape. 2-1. Here, Coach Moffitt down there, calling for him to get on his head. Controls hands. Tries to go for that wrist control, as you can see right there, and goes to the head. It's like Caleb, he's just been trying to find a way to be comfortable where he wants to work with for wrist and arm control. He's been switching to a 2-point degree stance to going back and forth from just a front lock, as we see right here. Bowled up, mano a mano, going back at it, getting back to the feet now. Bodovsky maybe could have pulled in for a Turk there. Nadig was a little slower to get back to it. Bodovsky could also start to be getting gassed here, as he's been the guy having to fly away a whole bunch. 40 seconds remain. In the second period, 35 seconds now. It's 2-1, Malachi with the lead. Head tap and go, works behind for a duck under and breaks him down. It's going to be 4-1 now. 22 seconds to go as, oh, look at that. Try to go for that crossface cradle and pulls back into a chicken wing. 15 seconds. Nadig is flat on his belly. Moving forward, getting to 5. Position to get into an escape, and belly's out right at the end there. He knew the situation he was in. Here goes the 140-pound class heading into the third period. .155 remains. We just begin the final period to go here for the 141-pound class. Brodowski has been very comfortable standing straight up. Here we go now. More of a Greco look. He's been changing all over the place. Maybe that's what it's came down to. Brodowski possibly just winning the mental game. He gets in and on a shot. Gets, nice. Level to level. Trying to pry off his foot though, kicking. Now you can't necessarily kick. I shouldn't say that. We're trying to just retch it off there. Oh, Nadig gets in a tough spot there, trying to go for a roll. Didn't have enough control, doesn't give anything up. Nadig still battling, and they call to go back to neutral. A reset. Naturally, it's not. Yeah, we're going to go back to neutral. 4-1. Make that 4-2. They're talking it over. Looks like they're going to award Brodowski with a point with a stall. He's going to move 4-2 to 5-2. Now, hang on now. We're showing 5-1. So, yep, 5-1. They never ended up giving the escape point to Nadig. They take it back. Brodowski up 4. He gets another point and keeps his lead. And he'll get with a major. 55 seconds to go to prove it. And see how close the team scores wind down. Tied at 24 after the women's varsity meet. 45 seconds now. Fly away, getting back to it. Put a hip into it. He got a belly out. Brodowski looking to add to his tally. 30 seconds remains. Nadig backs away, 7-2. Try to work an underhook. Staying back. 15 seconds now. Ten seconds. Clock is ticking. 5. Moving. It's going to stay. Final score 7-2. 7-2. Malachi Brodowski gets the victory by decision. Bumps it up. It's now 8-3. As far as the team lead goes, as we now move into the 149-pound weight class. For the Tritons, Justice Heffley out of Clinton, Maryland, will take on Malcolm Williams.
At 149, Malcolm Williams of Iowa Western. And for the Tritons sophomore from Clinton, Maryland, Justice Heffley. Justice Heffley.
2:45 on the clock, ticking down. Here's a switch up of pace now. Malcolm Williams, the aggressor, pushes forward before he backs up. Both these wrestlers super toned, you can see that there. Look at this stance. Interesting what Malcolm Williams is showing. He's kind of letting one of his arms dangle. Justice Heffley read him like a book, snapped him to his knees, but couldn't finish in on the shot going back into neutral in that Triton blue circle. 2 minutes remain. We just began the first period not too long ago. .145 remains now. This is Heffley with a blast double. Got to finish. Gets to his feet, brings him down. Hang on now, got to stay behind. Official calls for takedown. Then right away, Malcolm Williams with an escape. Just took him about 1 second to escape. It's 2-1. Wow, that was quick. In on a shot, gonna lose it, marking backwards. 1:15 remains in the first period. Two to one. Malcolm Williams tried to pump. I'm gonna stay just with it. $50 seconds. Turn it to 40. Referee calling for action. Got to get moving. It's the flattest we've seen so far. 30 seconds now. Heffley's pushing. Say you got to watch for that underhook. That's how Williams got that first takedown. Say get back to just naked spree, getting in there. Got the near ankle. Moves him up, tree trunk, 10 seconds to go. Heffley could finish here, forces out of bounds. And they're going back to neutral with just 5 seconds remaining in the period. And Heffley about tripped over himself. Go Heffley. And they're just gonna let it wind down to close out the period. 2-1. Heffley leads, Williams down 1. And Heffley's going to let him just up right away, 2-2 now. A good sign. Heffley shows that he's confident in neutral. Goes for a blast double, working outside, a roll. Somersault, going back to neutral. $135 remains. And Williams there has the wrist. Gave a stall point awarded. Oh, excuse me, no, that came from the escape. 2-2. 120. Oh, wow. Heffley looking like he had to adjust his chin strap. 110 remains. $55 seconds. Bringing that down to 45 now. $30 seconds remains. .22 working outside, didn't stay in bounds. Going back into neutral with just 21 seconds to wrestle in this second period here. They let it wind down to the end of the period, just like they closed that first. Here we go to begin the third and final. Heffley gets to elect to choose down. 2-2. The team score once again 8-3 in favor of Iowa Western. Say snap, staying heavy on his base there, Heffley. Now this is going to be interesting. First time it looks like they will battle from a base. In the past, we've seen both competitors get an escape just right away, letting them up and off the hook. But how long can Williams ride him out before he thinks he's got to get back to taking him down? There's 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the period. Heffley just with one escape could close out with a victory. The underhook on that strong side, working him into a wrist, but no, keeping on switching. Having to have Heffley switch back and forth. Williams sucks into the left side now, with his hands dominant on the right. 55 seconds to wrestle. In the third period, it's getting down to the wire. Here we go. Breaking up, trying to get the wrist, moving out. Still got, calling for that 1 foot still in. They just call him out of bounds. 41 seconds to wrestle. Moving forward. Uh-oh, there's Heffley. He's reaching back there. Williams uses it to his advantage as an anchor point, breaks him down. 30 seconds remains. Heffley, one wrist free with a leg, could send him with a victory. It stays 2-2 with 22 seconds to wrestle in the third period. This one could end up going to overtime. They move up 10 seconds. 7 seconds. Moving forward, breaking down, 5 seconds. 2, 1. Closing out the period, great work from both ends. Malcolm Williams with a very impressive right out to close the third period. We're headed to overtime. No, they're calling it. They're saying 1 got for Williams because he rode him out, no kidding. Wow. 3-2 decision. Malcolm Williams gets the victory. How about that? That brings the team score 11-3 now. So we move to the 157-pound weight class. Nathan Napolitano, true freshman from Holiday, Florida, gets the start. He's taking on Fabian Padilla, the 157-pound weight class. Fabian in on that front headlock moving forward. Tough spot that Nathan's in right now as he's looking straight down in the mat. He gets back to it though. A snap. Looking for that knee or ankle. And there's that wrist. Lots of low-scoring affairs so far. Besides that very first one at the 125-pound weight class, which resulted in a Reiver victory from a tech fall. Each match has been within 5. Decisions all the way through. 11-3. 1:45 remains in the first period. So we've yet to see a score. Lots of action, though. Very heavy on the head. You can see how hard they're yanking down on each other. Oh. That's why you can't stay stiff there. Napolitano does a good job at moving backwards and side to side. Now you can see he's a little heavy on his feet there. Part of that just trying to win that wrist control back, which he does right there. Again, it's Fabian Padilla for Iowa Western Wrestling. Ooh, fancy footwork. Gets an ankle down, gets him to his bottom. In a scramble. Don't put him to his back, then there's no points awarded. Got to get him down. 50 seconds to wrestle in the first period. Still waiting for takedown points. Nothing on the board, nothing on the board, working around him. Oh no. I liked his approach and staying with it. Gonna award 2 now to the home side. Napolitano gets the takedown, 2-0. You can see how close that was. 25 seconds remain. As they level out with one another. You see this position a lot, ending in a reset. Oh my goodness. Napolitano reaches all the way aboard. Just head straight down into the mat. 5 seconds remains. And Napolitano just simply outworks Fabian Padilla. In the last period, goes up 2-0. Fabian's head gear also popped off. We saw a bit of a salty reaction. This could get aggressive. 2-0. 11-3 is the team score. The Reivers lead it here for the Triton home duel. Here's Padilla, who starts on bottom for this second period here. 1:45 remains. Padilla on that one knee is killing him. He'll get on both feet there. Find a way to cut a corner. He works him outside. There you go, staying in bounds. Hey, this could be a reversal here if you just let him go. Let him go. Oh. Are they calling for escape here? Let's see the call. That was out of my view there when he put his hands up. I guess they don't award it. It stays 2-0, the 157-pound weight class. Napolitano goes with a near side ankle before switching into a 2-pointer wrist lock and giving up the escape point. Fabian Padilla gets back to his feet. Each side's are now in neutral. Centering up in the circle, 50 seconds remain. So we are right smack dab through the second period here. Still have another one to wrestle following this. Both guys standing on their feet. Heard Coach Bennett calling for him to return him to the mat. 2-1, that's what they'll do. 35 seconds remains. Heavy on the head. And they're both starting to slouch now, getting the wind knocked out of them. Oh, look at Fabian there. Stepped right on the foot, tried to trip him. Gotta watch for that. 12 seconds remains. As he got Napolitano to drop, but like a cat, sprung right back to his feet. 5 seconds to go now for the remainder of the second period. It's going to stay with the Triton lead, 2-1. Heading into period number 3. With Fabian there. Fabian, he looks real gassed. Napolitano works straight back in the down position. Look at Padilla here. Interesting call for him here. Calling for him with the diamond to bring him up for an escape. 3-1. Napolitano has the lead. 3-1. As they work outside. Oh, got both legs. Oh, Western wants the 2, but excuse me. They're not going to give it to him. Padilla's feet also fell outside that light blue circle. It's got to stay inside that circle with control. 1:25 remains. Padilla can tie it up. with the takedown. They're pushing. Once again, controlling that wrist. Both guys doing a great job controlling the head. Nice single leg. Got to finish though. Napolitano drops, gets to his base, and works him inside. Works with the leg. Doing the splits up top. Ballerina style, works him. 50 seconds remains. Keeping him with it. Right on his behind, 40 seconds now. He's got that half Nelson right there, working him to straighten him out. Still 3-1. 30 seconds to wrestle in the third. 20 seconds to wrestle. Nothing. Got his leg over him. Fabian in a tough spot here. Maybe if he can switch and move forward. They're going to call for 2 from Napolitano. Moves him to his back. Uh-oh, Padilla. 5 seconds remains. Not going to be enough time. And if Padilla had just another 10 seconds, an extra effort there, he might have put Napolitano to his back for back points, which could have gave him the lead or even tied it up. But nope, final score 5-3 decision in favor of Napolitano. That's a wrestling match right there. That was really exciting. Moving forward, Malachi Ray, the freshman out of Barnesville, Georgia, for the Tritons, will be wrestling against Cole Price, the 165-pound weight class for the Reivers. 3 minutes on the clock. We are 10 seconds in. Make it now 2:45 with 15 seconds in. So it wastes no time to jump into this 157-pound weight class, or 165. So we got this class left. Following forward being 174, 184, 197, then heavyweight. So as we stand right now, already halfway through the men's duel. 2:15 remains on the clock. Nice pressure added on the necks of both men. Stays with the flat scoreboard. Your team score update, 11-6, Reivers with a lead. Out on the Triton home mat for Hodges Fieldhouse. Snapping got him to his behind. It's 2-0 now. Oh, and he brings him back to a cradle. Now you can't pin him in that situation. You didn't have a lock over the head. 6-0 now. Cole Price leads it. Really nice, quick back points off of that first takedown with a snap. And he's getting more right here. See, look at that. Look, see how he has that 1 foot remaining in that light blue circle. That's all you got to do to keep it in, even if you're Malachi Ray forcing your whole body outside. Great wrestling awareness from Cole Price. That's going to add some more back points to the end of this. Yep, right there. 10-0 now, early, 50 seconds to wrestle in the first period. Cole Price off to a hot start. Cole Price still feeling him out. Sticking his, not just his feet, but his knee as a pointer. Now he's just got one down right there. That's going to be a tougher situation to hold on to it. But if you keep sucking him in, if you're, look at Malachi Ray there, trying to work to the hardwood. Off the mat. And the thing is, Cole Price, he's a tall guy. Work him all the way outside. They're going to let him go back neutral. Excuse me. They're going to let him go back top to bottom, unless Cole Price elects to bring him up. No, they will go top to bottom. Price on top, Ray on bottom. 10-0. Team score 11-6. Reivers with the lead. They're sucking him in with 5 seconds remains. Got a nice lock on that near leg there. Nice inner wrist as well. That was actually a far side wrist. That's going to close the first period. Malachi defers. Lets Price pay for what he wants, and he's going to choose bottom. Let's see what Price will do on bottom. We've seen his work on top and in neutral. Very impressive so far. Looks to get an escape early. No, he gets a reversal. 12-0, sends him to his back with 3 back points here. It's going to close it. You can see he's holding up 2 here. Let's see what they give him. Back points, back points. Still wanting that 2. Saying he just has 2 accounted for. Give Cole Price 2 more. It's up 14-0. Nice roll over, and that's it. 16-0, final score, Tech fall victory. Oh. Tech fall victory. Cole Price. Moving forward to the 174-pound weight class, here's Noble Hoyt. Another true freshman from Scranton, Iowa. Going to wrestle against 174-pound weight class, Grant Lyman. Updating the team score for you, 16-6. Noble Hoyt gets in, trying to throw in for a single leg. Worked back to a double, then back to a single before he gets back to his feet. Oh, nice. Just a switch on over, bringing him. That's going to be a takedown. That's going to send him back top to bottom. Really nice work from Grant Lineman with the last takedown there. And what made it so great is Lineman let Hoyt do all the work on offense. As he just kind of sat back, waited for him to take a bad approach, and took advantage of him. 2-0. Lineman with the advantage on top. He's got an inner lock with a wrist, and also working on those legs too. That stranger legs. Nice Granby roll, sending him over. Back point's going to be awarded. Who does this remind you of? Looks like Cole Price of the 165-pound weight class. This time jumping up to the 174-pound weight class. They're going to add some back points. 4-0 now. 4-0. 1 minute 45 seconds remains in this first period. Send him back once again, getting some back points. Look at that. Perfect sit. He's got 1 hit up for Grant. Sending Hoyt to his back. Now he's looking to go chest to chest, but got to keep a foot in. He still is. Trying to straighten him out, put him on an ironing board. Great defensive work from Noble Hoyt, though. Goes back to back, working outside, springs him forward, has a tippy toe in, works to get both of his feet in. Uh-oh, got to look for it. Nice call from the head official to keep an eye on those toes. 1 extra second could have determined if that was a pin or not. 8-0. Grant Lyman has the lead. .42 seconds remains in this first period. It's gone by quickly here. It's been all Grant Lyman in this one. Another rollover. Sends him to his back. Once again, that's not a pinning position, but a spot where you can get a whole lot of back points. That's what they've really used to their advantage here. Iowa Western's so good at that. They use that in the Malachi Ray 165, the 165-pound weight class, and now against Noble Hoyt. 10 seconds remaining. You can see what Iowa Western's game plan has been heading into the duel. 5 seconds now to go in this first period. The score is 12-0, where it'll go to a close. 12-0, here is the call. Lyman, instead of deferring, he goes down straight away. He has confidence to get out of here in the second period. Let's see if he can back that up. 12-0. Strong base, moves forward, snaps him down. Inside wrist hold for breaking free. 13-0 now with 1 minute and 45 seconds remains. A takedown will close as it's 13-0 now. Uh-oh, Hoyt, starting to look like he's injured or possibly sore at his hip. I noticed he was grabbing at his right side. And that right there is kind of a inverted headlock situation. And there Hoyt gives it up, and he gives up the pin even. And that's even more team points. So what would have resulted in a tech fall, add another point to it, that's a pin. 16 points added on for Iowa Western. It's now 22-6. Dominating fashion for Grant Lyman. Back to the action here for the 184-pound weight class. Here's Quentin Saunders, the freshman out of Wichita, Kansas. He'll wrestle against Colby Larson.
And for the Tritons, freshman out of Wichita, Kansas, Quentin Saunders.
There's Saunders locking in. The front end chicken wing, tried to stand him up, still trying to use his power to his advantage. He backs away from it. Saunders out of position here, but what he's doing good, being out of position, being a little too high, is he's staying heavy on that head. As long as you keep that head down with those eyes facing towards the mat, really hard to control where you're going and where you're trying to move to. Colby Larson gets in on a shot, but once again, it's been Saunders and his power working him inside. If he gets a step, he could throw. Getting a step there, he could throw. And he does just that, sending him to the mat, working around. That's a takedown for two. 2-0 early, Saunders with the lead. Boy, that was impressive. Not a lot of guys can just use straight power, and he did just that. Powered all the way himself into tripping over Colby Larson, sending him to his behind. It's 2-0, 22-6 for the team score. Reivers have the lead. Tritons would need, let's see here. Tritons would need 2 pins, 2 pinfalls, and 1 technical foul. I keep saying foul. Fall to close with a victory. To tie it, they could have 1 pin and 2 technical fouls. .55 seconds remains in the first period. Saunders up 2-0. Hit that 45 now. Saunders working outside. Look at that switch. Move from Larson to Saunders. The feet working outside. Saunders still keeping 1 foot in. He's letting the clock just milk away. Riding him out till the very sweet end. 15 seconds now. He's got a far side chicken wing and a tough spot there for Saunders, but still rides him to the very outside. 8 seconds to wrestle in this first period. Saunders, who had lost his position on top, still found a way to stay level-headed, working around him with a wide base. That's really what has gotten the job down, led to Larson not being able to get any escapes or reversals. And that will close out the first period. 2-0 Saunders heading into 2. Saunders defers. Larson gets the call, and he wants neutral. He wants vengeance from that trip earlier. It's been very even so far. Saunders using that extra strength. Hang on now. We got a buzzer going off. Got to fix that. Got a buzzer going off. Technical issue. Going to get our clock fixed. 2 minutes. Still just trying to get that clock fixed. Looks like it's frozen on 1:50. That's what they get it down to. 1:45 to wrestle in the second period now. 2-0 Saunders with the lead, 22-6. The Reivers leading in team points. So we have the 184 class, the 197, and the heavyweight class to wrestle. $125 remains. Well, that frontal headlock works him outside, and they call for a stall. $2-0 going back neutral. Larson hasn't mustered a whole lot of offense so far. Been heavy on those wrists and the head, but hasn't been cutting corners too much. Hasn't been setting himself up to shoot him at an angle. 50 seconds there. Flies in to try to get in on a single leg. Saunders, with eyes wide open, looks right on it, flies away. Front headlock, bringing down both to their knees. Saunders moves to his tippy toes and circles around for the takedown. 4-0. Saunders. Now we're working on far side. End over end with 16 seconds to wrestle in the second period. Make a move here. Guys looking like they're starting to get tired. 5 seconds remains in this second period. Keep in mind, Saunders is going to have the decision heading into the third. Saunders chooses neutral. Well, he's got both takedowns in this one so far. One in a period each. See if he can go for 3. $145 to wrestle. Final period here in the 184 class. Just join us. I'm Hank Ambrose with you for your Iowa Central Triton coverage on Triton Nation's YouTube channel. So we've gone through the women's wrestling duel. Working through the men's now. Oh, bringing him down. Chicken wing moving forward. Sitting him to his back. A pin would be really nice here. Sit him down. Sit him down. Chest to chest. Got to work it. Still not there. Still not there. It will be 6-0 regardless. Squeeze him. Squeezing him. Send him down. Minute remains. You can see his legs are locked in right now. Saunders maybe try to work at an angle. 50 seconds to go. Get that leg free, work him. Great work from Colby Larson, not giving up a pin, working him to the very end. Saunders gets 4 total back points. It's going to be up 10-0. Got that inside wrist, 25 seconds. Brings them up. 10-1 now. 8 seconds remains. 6 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the close. Final score 10-1. Larson goes for a last-second takedown. I applaud the try there from Larson going for that last-second takedown, but hey, that was literally within ticks of going off with the buzzer. How about we move forward? 197-pound weight class. Here's John Levette wrestling Brett Mower for the Reivers. 197-pound class.
Brett Moore for Western. The Tritons.
Updating the team score. Tritons add 4 to their tally. 22-10. The best the Tritons can do now is tie it at 22. In order to do that, they need back-to-back pins here. John Levette and whoever they send out for their heavyweight class, they have 3 options tonight between Hector Garcia, Colton Goodell, and Hugo Harp. Two minutes, 10 seconds remains. Oh, look at that roll. Sits him on his back, but still battling for, hang on, still battling here for takedown. And look at that. Brett Mower might have found a way. He definitely has the better positioning right now. He might have. Wow. Tough situation. Ends up resulting in a takedown for Brett Mower. Minute 30 remains in this first period. 2-0. Minute and 20 seconds to wrestle now. Work forward. Looks like Brett is trying to work in and try to go for inside lock on that wrist now. Levette doing a good job at fending off that wrist control, gets to his feet and gets the escape. It's 2-1 now. As they go heavy on the head. Push inside. They work to an edge. Here we go. They go perpendicular. They actually even gave Mower another takedown. It's 4-1. Wow. Mower. I got to appreciate that offensive mindset. Get that escape point. Don't got to necessarily go straight back up to your feet. And let him go off the wrist. He brought him straight back down. Got another takedown. Now he's up 4-1 with 5 seconds to wrestle in the first period. Mower with the lead heading into the second. Here's the decision. Mower gets the call. He'll defer. Levette going to call for a neutral. Levette working outside now. 1:45 remains. Nice blast double, sending him to the mat. 6-1. That was Oklahoma drill style. Lined him up one-on-one, sent him forward. Brought in the brigade, 6-1. Mower dominating on top. Trying to go for a splint, working him forward. Now to add the crossface. That is painful, painful, painful stuff. Levette battling. He works down to his chin, bringing him to his back end of his shoulders. There are the back points. If he gets an arm and both shoulders down, that would count as a pinning position, but nope. So far, all he's got is the 4 back points as they move him forward, 10-1. Mower now, oh, nice. Threw his hip in, tried to go for a headlock. Now, it didn't end up working, but I love the call there. Levette let up a little bit of pressure there before sending him. .25 seconds to wrestle in the second period. 10-1, Mower with the lead. Levette now with his forehead into the mat. Tries to move forward with the switch. Doesn't work. 10 seconds to wrestle. He gets sent to his back here. 1 second, closing out. So we head into the third as they add 2 back points to Mower's tally. It's 12-1 now. $12-1 for this 197-pound weight class. Minute and 40 seconds remains. Out of position there. Uh-oh. As they back him up into his own Triton territory. Levette moves backwards. As they threw up the 2. Another takedown for Mower. 14-1. You're Levette here. You're down. Got a minute and 15 seconds to wrestle. Tritons needing a pin in back-to-back matches here to tie it up at 22 for the team score. If you're Levette, you're down 13 late into the final period to wrestle. I think this is where you got to kind of dig deep, get a little risky. Try to work to your base, get a wrist. Throw in a Suicina roll and go in for that end. 14-1, trying to not give up those back points. 35 seconds. Mower battling. Easy to give up here, but got to give it to him. Levette sticking in it. 20 seconds. Prying that arm off him. Trying to work to his base, but just is out of position with that leg. He gets turned. Gets turned. 5 seconds remains. Goes chest to chest. Chest to chest. Battle it out. Battle it out. And that closes the end of the match, as they will add some more back points on. 18-1 the final. That's a tech foul. Which now bumps the score up for the team score, 27-10. That means no matter what happens in this match, Iowa Western will be leaving tonight with the victory to close out the month of November. Congratulations to Iowa Western as a team standpoint for getting the victory tonight. For the Tritons, they elect to wrestle Hector Garcia in the starting lineup tonight. out of Boone, Iowa. Just about an hour away here from home base in Fort Dodge. Tonight he's wrestling against Peyton Christensen. Christensen and backed up on their feet. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remains in this first period. For the Triton men's, looking forward in the schedule, that close up their month of November, of course, but also nothing scheduled in the month of December. The next time I have them wrestling will be January 13th for national duels. For the women's schedule, their next match is going to be December 3rd at the Doane Open, and then they'll have another one in December, December 10th for the William Penn Duel. Minute remains in this first period. Garcia against Christensen. .40 seconds now. It's been a power contest so far. Big lumberjacks just moving in between each side, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. .15 seconds to wrestle now in this first period. That 5, clocking out to the very end, and we're through 3 minutes of this first period. That went by super quick, despite not being much action, just moving back and forth. That's how these heavyweight guys like to roll every now and then. It's a lot of power you're moving in that central part of the mat. You want to make sure you're also using all of your strength well. Don't want to tip over and end up possibly leaving for the only takedown in the match. They call for a timeout there. Good call from the official there. As they give it up for Christensen. Oh, Garcia is up 1-0. Minute and 40 seconds remains here. Working at that 45-degree angle. Standing up top. .115 remains with an underhook from Garcia. Moves back. Try to load up on top. Nothing there as they back away. A minute and 5 seconds to wrestle in this second period. 55 seconds remains now. Coach Watts is calling for a shot from Christensen. Want to see one before the close of this second. Still got 45 seconds to do it. Make that 35. Heavy on that dominant side for Hector Garcia as he bounces backwards. Now with a shove to the head there. Back to 20 seconds. Bring it into 10. got in on that shot. Christensen trying to work around and not enough. Not quick enough to work around. It's going to stay 1-0. Here's the start. The final period. Garcia's up 1-0. Christensen goes down. Garcia putting a leg in. Uh-oh, just make sure you don't go overboard. Backs off and away. Christensen gets to his feet, but got to break free. He gets slammed down. That's what we like to see from the big fellas. He gets a huge pop for Hodges Fieldhouse. Minute 30 seconds remains. Christensen looks to break free on his feet again. But Christensen, what his problem is, he's reaching behind him though. That allows his anchor point to drop because his shoulders go down low and Hector Garcia just gives it up. I think Hector could have held on a little while longer. Maybe he felt something that, of course, we didn't see. We're tied at 1 now with 1 minute and 8 seconds to wrestle in the third period. "55 seconds now. Bring that in to 40 seconds. Tied 1-1. Each wrestler getting it from an escape, standing up. 25 seconds. Move that to 20. Getting into crunch time. Each guy's backing away. 15 seconds. Locking up, here we go. 10 seconds. Big close coming in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. It's 1-1. Go ahead official gonna go and talk to Brownie out there. The rest of the judge. So we're in overtime. 2 minutes on the clock for overtime. Takedown can do it here. There's a shot thrown in from Christensen. Garcia backs away. 1:45 remains, 15 seconds into the bout. Gets behind him, Hector Garcia with a duck under and score. Garcia gets the takedown and the victory. 3-1 decision will close out the day. That makes for a final score for the men's side. 27-13. Iowa Western gets the victory in the duel. I'd like to congratulate both sides for battling hard. It was the first home duel of the season. Excited for the other ones we got on deck. Not going to be happening though for quite some time. But hey, we got a long ride ahead of us, and this is just the beginning of the winter sports season for Iowa Central Athletics. Until next time, I'm Hank Ambrose. Really excited to be with you for History Night for the first ever Iowa Central Women's Wrestling Duel held in Hodges Fieldhouse. Before I go, big thank you to Rusty for producing the broadcast for us tonight. Part of Triton Nation's YouTube channel. Safe travels home, everybody. Until next time, see you later.